So you want to be a frog? That's great! What's that? You want to be a good frog? Then this video is for you. First, let's talk about his abilities and when to use them. Crossfade is Lucio's ability to switch between healing and speed. The most common mistake most Lucio players make is staying on the heal. Let me tell you something. Lucio's heal aura only heals allies for 16 healing a second. That means even if you're healing all 4 teammates, you're only outputting 64 healing per second. Compare that to Baptiste, who can heal 70 health per shot and can heal multiple people at once. If you want to play passive and mostly heal, you should play a main support, not Lucio. Lucio is definitely more of a supporting support, not a healer. You should try to strike a balance between healing and speed. When you press tab in Overwatch 2, you can actually see the percent of time you spend healing versus speeding. While the exact percentage of time healing can vary from game to game, usually you want it to be in the neighborhood of 50-50 with your heal and speed. In my experience, it's easier to learn by overusing speed and learning based off that when you should be healing instead. Your Amp It Up ability is the most difficult ability to properly utilize, and I say this because it has a 12-second cooldown. The ability increases healing or speed depending on which one you have active, but the long cooldown means you'll probably only get it once or twice a fight, so timing is of the utmost importance. If you're just using it to top off your team, then you have a problem. If your team is being pressured and is at risk of dying, even with healing amp, you won't be able to keep your team alive a lot of the time. More often than not, you have to speed your team to safety. This is especially true if it's just like your tank that's slow. Help them run away. If the enemy uses an ultimate like Maze Blizzard or Diva Bomb, use speed to get your team out of the way. Using your speed amp aggressively is also a great way to get value. If you're playing with a team that likes to get close to the enemy, like a Reinhardt, you want to be saving Amplify until your Rein goes aggressive, so you can close the distance between your team and the enemies. You should really only use Heal Amp if your entire team is pretty low health and your other support can't keep up. Sound Wave, more commonly known as BOOP, knocks people backwards up to 8 meters. It only deals 25 damage, so typically you want to use it as a defensive ability, either by forcing enemies away or displacing them during a 1v1. If you have another support like Ana, you can protect her by knocking away that pesky Genji or Reaper. Protecting a teammate in your backline from a flanker or diver is called peeling. Lucio isn't the best peeler, but he can get the job done, and sometimes you need to peel while you're playing him, so you need to be aware of what's happening behind you in case someone on your team needs help. Soundwave is the easiest way to help them out, by keeping close range enemies at a distance. Lucio's Sound Barrier ultimate gives all allies within range 250 overhealth and decays over the span of 6 seconds. You can use this ability either aggressively or defensively. Sometimes, if you really need to win a team fight, you can beat and use speed amp so your team can get super aggressive for a few seconds, which can win you the fight a lot of the time. However, using your ultimate like this is risky and sometimes accomplishes nothing. Because of this, it's usually best to use your ult defensively, and I don't just mean to save a teammate. Lucio's ultimate can completely negate an enemy's ultimate. A gravitational flux? Nope. A nanoblading Genji? Useless. You get the picture. You should almost always save your ultimate to counteract an enemy ultimate. As I mentioned earlier, Lucio's primary goal is not to heal his team, but you do have several other jobs. Like I said, you want to peel for your team when they need it. You also want to be aggressive with your tank when possible. Lucio is one of the few supports that can frontline and not get punished. One of the easiest ways to do this is by wall riding. Lucio has the ability to literally ride on walls, and this makes him pretty hard to hit if your movement is good. I see so many Lucios stand back behind their team, walking around on the ground with your heal out. No! Jump around! Apply pressure! Make something happen! So when you play Lucio, you should usually be close to your tank or on a nearby wall trying to help kill people, ready to fall back and help your backline if they need it. But there's something else you have to do too. You don't only deal with flankers when they jump in your backline. Sometimes you gotta get to the enemy first. If you see an enemy damage hero trying to take the high ground for himself, don't let him. Lucio can 1v1 just about anybody in the game. If you see a soldier, Ashe, Widow, anything like that, go kill him. You can wall ride your way up there and take him out. I will warn you though, you do have to have good movement and the ability to hit shots, but that will come with time. Just remember, if you play Lucio correctly, you should be very hard to kill. Some final tips before I finish the video. Tip number 1, practice your movement. There's a great custom game called Lucio Surf that just lets you practice parkouring off walls and resets you if you hit the ground. Doing these can help you get comfortable with his movement, plus they're really fun, so give them a try. You can do them during your queue, so you have nothing to lose. Tip number 2, turn on backwards wall riding if you haven't already. This setting lets you latch onto a wall without looking at it and is vital for good movement. Tip number 3, you can use Soundwave and Crossfade abilities while reloading. Tip number 5. If a teammate has died and your team doesn't need you at the moment, go speed them back from spawn so they can rejoin the team quicker for the next fight. This is called ferrying. So if someone asks you to ferry someone, you should go get them. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like and subscribe if you found it helpful. There are more guides coming your way. Good luck on your future games.